there, I'm Laura Noel, a second-generation homeschooler and homeschooling mom of two, and today let's talk about homeschooling budgets. It's the time of year where I love to plan my next school year, so we want to think about budgets. How much are we going to spend on homeschooling, and how much does homeschooling cost anyway? Your homeschool budget will vary dramatically based on how many kids you have, where you live, if you're a part of a co-op or other program or record-keeping service, and ultimately how much your family just decides that you can allocate to education. Being the numbers person I am, I dug up a few numbers. Now, I live in California, so I mostly used California numbers, so where you live may dramatically change the numbers, but here's some interesting numbers from the state of California. In California, while attending public school is free to the student, public school spending per pupil in 2024-25 was estimated to be $18,020. The national average per pupil spending for K through 12 grades public schools in the U.S. is $17,277. In my area in California, the average private elementary school costs between $6,000 on the very low end up to $11,000 per child per year. Now, of course, public school and private schools are employing teachers and staff, they're running buildings and programs, and so there's a whole lot more that's going into those numbers than the actual cost of curriculum and homeschooling. So there is one more option that California gives that gives us a little bit more of a picture of what homeschooling could cost. In California, we have charter schools. These are extensions of the public school system where it is free tuition for homeschool students, but they also pay out per child various amounts, typically ranging in $1,500 to $3,500 per student for families to buy secular curriculum, materials, and pay for programs. Well, the numbers for public school spending and private school tuition are a little bit out there for most of us homeschoolers. I do think that the charter school payouts are something to pay attention to. That's what the government thinks that the cost of education per child could be, somewhere in that $1,500 to $3,500 range. Even at that, most of us are probably having heart palpitations thinking about that much money being spent per child, especially if you have a bunch of kids. And most of us are probably thinking, there is no way I have that kind of money to spend. And certainly most of us don't, and we are just fine. But I do want to make a point that a lot of people, I think, scoff at the idea of spending $1,000 per child per year. But if you don't actually track your spending, do you know how much you're spending on co-op fees and curriculum and lessons and all of the things added up? It might actually be $1,000 or more per child. So anyway, let's get back to budgets. I put them into three categories for simplicity's sake. First off, we've got the low budget, $0 to $100 per child per year. Totally doable. If you have a low budget or no budget, you can still homeschool just fine. Here's some tips. Get a library card if you don't already have one. You have access to thousands and thousands of books on every topic under the sun. Tons of literature, movies, documentaries, music, languages. You have everything right there at your fingertips. Plus, free computer and internet access in the physical library if you need that, and often access to audiobooks, online learning programs, and other programs, some of which offer free or discounted admission to museums, zoos, all kinds of things you can use for field trips and enrichment. Secondly, ask friends, go to yard sales, used book sales, search Facebook Marketplace for used, free, or cheap curriculum. This stuff is out there because people want to get rid of things. Homeschoolers who are done are like, here's all my boxes of curriculum, please take it. So you just have to search for it, find it, ask local homeschool groups. Many of them have lending libraries, our group does. So there's a lot of resources out there. You don't have to go and buy full price. There's lots of resources that you can take advantage of. Some libraries even have some activity books and curriculum books I've seen. So look around because you're going to find a whole bunch of stuff. If you have a local Buy Nothing group or group like that on Facebook, mom group, anything like that, ask for school supplies and craft supplies. People have loads of the stuff that they're willing to get rid of. Next up is the medium budget. So this is about $100 to $500 per child per year. You still want to rely on the library for lots of things and search for that free and discounted curriculum. It's everywhere. You also may want to think a lot about family subjects. So these could be very helpful doing history, science, Bible, even some literature if your kids are close in age. You can use one curriculum for multiple children, and it's going to save you a lot of money doing that instead of having to do different grade levels. Now, if your kids are far apart, you're going to have to do grade levels. But as much as you can, try to lump things together, and your kids will still learn, and you might have fun doing it as a family. Likewise, unit studies are a great way to save money and do things as a family. So Gather Round Homeschool, Campfire curriculums, they're very popular unit studies that actually do span multiple age ranges. So you could do it with a very young child and an older child. You just adjust the activities for younger child activities and older childs. They might have some extra stuff to do. At a medium budget, you can look into basic curriculum kits from places like Timberdoodle, Sunlight, My Father's World. There's a lot of new curriculum out there, and many of them have different levels. So you can purchase like the all pack that has everything, or you can purchase the basic pack, go pick up the literature books from the library, or get them at a used book sale, things like that, where you don't have to buy everything full price. The third level is the high budget. So this would be $500 to $1,500 or more per child per year. With a bigger budget, you can look at the big complete curriculums such as Timberdoodle, Sunlight, the elite kits, the complete kits, and getting all of that stuff new. You can look at the full packages that have all the bells and whistles, the games, the art kits, all the supplies. But you may not want to get everything. Still look and be budget friendly of what do we really want to use? What are my kids' interests? Cater to their interests, what they actually like. Don't just get things to get things. Depending on what you spend on your basic curriculum, you can look at extras like lessons, online programs, classes, all of that sorts of stuff. And again, you can homeschool with no budget or a low budget, but you can also do it with a medium budget and a high budget. It doesn't make your kids' education better. It's just a different option. It's a different way to do it. You could have no budget and go to school in the forest every day, and your kid might come out way more enriched than the child that sits at the desk and does all the games and puzzles. They're just different ways to do it. Okay, so what's my budget for this year? Well, my budget is a little bit fluid because we don't always know what's going to come up, but this is what I am planning on. First up, we have co-op fees. So I have about $385 in co-op fees. That number includes facility rental, membership fees for our support group, and then class fees for the individual classes that my kids will be taking. Every year, classes can cost different things, so that's just what I expect this year to cost. Next is HSLDA, which is Homeschool Legal Defense Association membership fee. So that's $120. For us, it's very valuable. If you haven't heard about HSLDA, please go check out their website. They are amazing in protecting homeschool freedom and offering all kinds of legal support should you ever need it. Then I have $25 in school supplies. We have so many school supplies that I don't usually allocate a lot of money here because we have so much. But if we need some glue or some tape or some little things, I have a little bit in there. Back to school sales are always my favorite. $35 for our yearbook. Our homeschool group does put out a yearbook every year, and so we absolutely love that. School pictures every year. I estimate about $75 for that. That's always just a fun thing to do. And then I have the Timberdoodle preschool kit, estimated around $700. The new kits haven't come out yet. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do, but that's approximately what we might spend. The Timberdoodle 4th grade kit, about $800. Again, we aren't exactly sure, but I estimated about that. Brave Rider, I already have a lot of Brave Rider things for this year, but they always have some really good Black Friday sales. And if they come out with some new guides for some exciting books that I want, then I do have some money allocated there, $100. to grab a couple of those on sale. And then I have field trips, $300. We're doing California history this year with our co-op, and so we're going to do field trips, and I have no idea how much they're going to cost. So I just put 300 there because I have no idea. Excuse the little person who's running around here. Okay, so my budget, that whole thing is about $2,540. So if we split that between my two kids, it would be $1,270 per child. But it's really not split that way because their ages are so different. And so we do invest, more for the older child than the younger child, typically. Also, sometimes Timberdoodle kits are sponsored. I don't know if mine will be this year or not, so sometimes that number comes down, making my out-of-pocket a little bit less. But you might be looking at that and saying, how can you afford that? You must be rich. Not even close. Not even close. But we do live very simple lives. None of us have expensive hobbies, memberships. None of us take classes or lessons. Our family just doesn't do that kind of stuff. So I don't buy my kids a lot of toys. They have modest birthday and Christmas celebrations. But beyond that, I like investing in quality educational materials, and I like using awesome curriculum that gives us year-round enrichment in our family life. So whenever we get tax refunds, usually that goes toward education. I've been known to sell old curriculum that I've purchased. If we used it or didn't use it and didn't want to keep it, I've done it on eBay, on Facebook Marketplace. I've babysat, I've dog walked, I've done admin and virtual assisting, like whatever little things I need to do to get some money into that homeschool fund, I've done it because that's important to me. But again, you don't even need a budget to homeschool. It's just something that I like to do. I like to invest that money in my kids. If that's not something that you feel you want to do, then by all means, use the library, use simple curriculum and make it simple for your family. So, do you have a budget for this next year? Let me know in the comments how much you budget and how you decide that. And I would love to hear your experiences in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.